London's murder rates are overtaking New York's. Over the course of the years, knife crime has risen significantly. With a gun-free society, some people are deciding to carry knives to commit crimes or to perpetrate certain events. With teenagers involved in criminal activity, they're routinely found with a knife. But even children as young as 9 years old carry pocket knives for experimental reasons. I spoke to an ex-police officer for Dorset about some of the activities he encountered.
The majority of people that will carry knives now are very young, and when asked why they carry knives, it's generally for protection. So I would think the majority of young people who carry knives in London don't do so because they want to commit a crime. They do so because they're afraid, and they're afraid of getting caught up in some kind of a confrontation with a gang or confrontation with an individual who's got a criminal association. And so in order to protect themselves, they carry these knives. And that, of course, just escalates, because when you have a disagreement between those two parties and they're both carrying knives, then of course the end result could be a violent one. Whenever a family has been informed that their child has become a victim of crime, it's always very difficult for them to accept, for obvious reasons. When you come to young people who are then arrested for these offences, oftentimes the families don't really know what their children are up to. So they have an idea they've been up to no good, and they may be involved with the wrong crowd, and they have concerns about the friends that they're keeping, but they don't oftentimes know the extent of what the children are up to, because the children hide it from them, because they know, particularly with many parents who are, who like to try do the best they can for their children. They wouldn't be happy to hear that their child is routinely carrying a knife and trying to participate in, I don't know, some thefts or robberies or anything like that. So they hide it from the family. So when the families do get the news, for many of them, they find it very difficult to believe. They don't know whether to believe it or not, because they think, well, that's not how I know my son, or I don't know how sometimes a daughter, but generally it's young boys. So they have to then deal with the fact that not only do they have the shock of realizing that their child has been involved in a serious crime and potentially even a murder, but then they have to face the slow unfolding of all the information that's connected to them, how long they've been doing it, what the actions were, who they've been supported by, what did they do it for. I think one of the reasons why you've seen the increase in knife carrying on the streets is because in many areas the police have been reluctant to use those Section 1 stop and search powers because of the particular criticism they may get, which has potentially influenced younger people to be more bold in carrying a knife, knowing that they will more than likely not be stopped and that won't be found. And then I think that could reduce knife carrying quite substantially, because people who tend to carry knives know then that if the police are out in the area, and local residents have said there's a lot of people carrying knives, we've seen them, we know where they are and so on. It gives the police an opportunity to put those stop and search powers in there. But again, if you're looking at it from a much wider perspective, then it's not just a matter of finding the child with a knife on the street, whether it be for self-defense or for a crime. You need to go a bit further back and find out, what's the reasons that they're carrying knives? How can we get rid of those reasons? How can we discourage them from being part of organised crime gangs? What ways can we prevent them being associated with these types of people who encourage them to carry knives, so that they have alternatives and they'd have a different road to travel and so on? Those are the wider things, the sort of dealing with rather than dealing with a symptom, deal with the cause. So sort of rather than waiting for them to carry a knife so you can arrest them and say we've done something, rather stop them from thinking about carrying a knife in the first place. And in order to do that, you have to create a much different environment in which they live. That's the tougher issue, because that's not just a police issue. That covers the government, local authorities, social services, youth services, local communities, and everybody has to club in to that to make that work. It's not just the police.
I'm here at the Soberwell Sports Centre, where I've been here since 1982, coaching football, but since then we've opened a boxing club in the last year or so, and it's all youth orientated, it's all about the kids. What we've been doing is giving children an opportunity, a recreational alternative. You know, your gangs and your trouble at the moment, it hasn't just appeared, but we have changed children's lives. They've gone on to coach, some have gone on to do other things in life you wouldn't have expected at that time. So yeah, we've had an impact. I'd say we've had a very, very positive impact on children. If we catch 1 in 10, 2 in 50, it's better than nothing. It works. Recreation works as an alternative.
Having done my research, I felt it was a good idea to gain an insight from somebody who has experienced crime firsthand. I spoke to upcoming artist Maxwell D about his time in the streets.
My childhood was really harsh. You know, domestic violence, foster care, prison, you know. I was pretty much institutionalized in the mind, and that for me was the beginning. Obviously there's a lot of detail in the street life that I was in, because yes, did I carry knives? Yes, I did. Did we carry guns? Yes, we did. Did we, you know, rob and steal? Yes, we did. Did we, you know, do a lot of bad stuff? Yes, we did. You know what I mean? Was I a leader of groups? Yes, I was. I was like a leader. I can give you the mindset of a leader. You know, for me, it was like, yeah, right, organized. Everyone meet up. We're gonna go out for the day. You know, we're meeting up at, you know, Crackerjack was like a little off license in Peckham. We'd all link up and we would go out on missions and rob and steal whatever we could and come back and meet up at the end of the day. A lot of drug activity as well. Weed, crack, whatever, you know, we would be on it. We'd be just out there, tearaways. Did our parents know what we was doing? Hell no. You know what I mean? No way did they know. You got to be a lot of the kids in the street, they ain't got parents or people that are pushing them, motivating them, go university, do get a degree. But with street life, oh man, yeah, you know, a lot of it my anger would stem from home. So it would be easy to mash up a guy on the street. I don't know you, nothing about you. And that anger that I'm having, that I'm carrying, I'm walking with anger. But I'm be smiling at my friends and joking, but just a click of her fingers, you cross me, you're gonna get all my wrath. You're not just getting my today's wrath, you're getting like my home life wrath, you're getting my rejection, my back, so you're getting the whole negativity. And then yeah, so that's why, can I say, is it easy for someone to stab someone? Of course it is. Is it easy for someone to kill somebody? Yeah, because you don't know what they're carrying. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna stab. You have got people that are mental health issues that are walking around just stabbing people for no reason, but these kids in gangs, no, you got 50 kids walking around in a gang. That means that's 50 dramas, 50, you know, and then put all that energy together. Oh my God, what are you gonna get? I got arrested for armed robbery because I'd done loads of bad stuff on the streets. Went to prison for 3 years. At the age of just before I turned, well, no, I just turned 18 actually, because I remember when I went in December the 4th, 1997. I'll never forget the day. Jail was like, all my friends were there. Everyone from the States or whatever, all different areas. Where I was, both areas like South London, East London. Used to hang around with my friends in North London. My family are from North West London, Harlesden. It was more just like knowing everyone, and prison for me was like a big link up. Yeah, I'm always just hearing about more criminal activities, like, oh, I'm in there for robbery, oh, I'm in there for selling drugs, oh, I'm in there for such and such, oh, I'm in there, so, is it, how did you do that? Is it, how did you do that? Oh yeah, how much money did you make? What? Right, oh, when I get, so it's like a link up for people to kind of, you know, but I got a big sentence, so for first time ever to be behind bars, to people who've been in prison for 3 months, they'd be like, oh, it's nothing, come back, 6 months, come back, nothing. Me, it was like, bam, 3 years, year and a half, 2 Christmases, 2 birthdays, no women, porno magazines, no freedom. I couldn't do it. I was like, that is me. I could just about handle it. So for me, I was like, no, I'm not coming back to this place. I didn't used to be bad because I wanted to be bad. I was bad because I was broke. That was the main essence of it. And hey, you're broke and all you're seeing is adverts on TV, Super Nintendo, you know, Nike, Air trainers. In our days, you know, it was Versace, Moschino, like, it still is now, it's gone back around full cycle. That's what we wanted to do. And you didn't fit in society or around your friends if you never had any of these latest stuff on. You'd be treated as an outcast.
This stuff's been going on for a long time. It didn't just start, it didn't just pop out of the blue here. Understand, we've had these issues on the ground in most of our towns and cities, especially in London, for years.
I was a part of an era that was very, how can I say, knife crime was always around. You know, I'd be at raves or house parties and people take out their butterfly knife to, you know, sort out conflicts.
We need the funding, we need the resources so that the people who are already on the ground level, on the ground, doing the work with the young people, trying to get these guys and girls to turn their lives around, turn their thinking around, can do more of the good work.
Is it a race issue now? No. Is it you know, like, is what issue have we really got? It's a class issue. Money is the root to all evil.
Well, one of the biggest causes is, you know, there's nothing for them to do. You know, it's a simple fact that they don't feel like they belong. They're being marginalised from every angle. Now, a lot of them, their home life isn't great. They go to school, school isn't great. They're starting to try to expel and exclude half of our children for no reason, really, just to keep up the statistics of the school. And then they're putting them into all these PRUs and all these services, and they're just leaving them there, and I don't know what they expect to happen. Now, all the services have been cut, youth services, no youth clubs, all this kind of stuff that when I was growing up, we had a lot of this stuff around, that we could go there and speak to people and have mentors there, people who are our elders, who would tell us, listen, well, stop doing that, and that's maybe not the right thing for us to do. But right now, ask them where the youth club is, where the youth centre is at. They're hanging out on street corners, they're hanging out in each other's house, and they're being heavily influenced by social media. Because the elders, the people, the community are no longer there. Everybody's just turned into their own individual selves. You know, everybody's got to look out for themselves. I've got to go to work, or I've got to do my thing and look after my own family. And then the ones that don't have that kind of unit, then they're left to congregate with each other, and then we're seeing the results of that.
I done a show, and I left the show, and as I'm walking out, my friends have had an argument with some other gang members, and they're coming out and literally they're shooting after us and my friends are shooting after them.
You know, all this turf war, they're not allowed to go from this borough to that borough or that side to that side. I mean, it's crazy stuff, absolutely crazy stuff. But they're young people and they've got so much life and vibrancy in them. But if they don't have somewhere to take that out or put that out or express that, then they're just going to turn on themselves. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing them imploding, in fact.
I didn't used to be bad because I wanted to be bad. I was bad because I was broke.